Hello friends. Let's talk about the soul that enters this world on March 2nd, a date draped in mystery, romanticism, and depth. Born under the gentle but enigmatic sign of Pisces, these individuals are a rare mix of dreamers, lovers, empaths, and visionaries. But there's far more to a person born on this day than meets the astrological eye. From Western astrology to numerology, from the Druidic tree calendar to Vedic charts, this is the ultimate, deep dive horoscope, a 360 degrees view of what it means to be born on March 2nd. Whether you're one of them, love one of them, or are just deeply curious, this will open your eyes. Western zodiac, Pisces. People born on March 2nd stand beneath the shimmering constellation of Pisces, the final and perhaps most spiritually evolved sign of the Western zodiac. Governed by Neptune, the blue-hued planet of dreams, illusion, and compassion, Pisces is a sign that defies logic and lives by feeling, energy, and imagination. Neptune's influence makes March 2nd individuals particularly tuned into the invisible, emotions, symbols, undercurrents, and truths unspoken. They often walk through the world like poets with a purpose, blending reality with what could be, what should be, or what's simply beautiful to imagine. Those born on March 2nd aren't just emotional, they're emotionally intelligent in a way that often feels psychic. They read rooms before entering them. They know when someone's hurting even if no one else notices. They're the quiet friend who sits beside you when you cry and doesn't say a word, because they don't need to. They already feel it with you. In childhood, many March 2nd Pisces are the sensitive one, the dreamer, the daydreamer, the introvert lost in thought, the artist sketching in the back of class. But this isn't weakness, it's the early expression of a deeper calling, to observe life from the soul's perspective. As they grow, they often develop a fascination with art, music, spirituality, or psychology, anything that explores the hidden layers of existence. The challenge for March 2nd Pisces is learning how to stay grounded. With their heads often in the clouds or deep underwater emotionally, they can get overwhelmed by the intensity of their inner life. Escapism, through fantasy, relationships, substances, or overgiving, can become a danger if they're not careful. However, when they do find balance, when they learn to ground their intuition with action, their dreams with discipline, they become truly powerful. They don't just survive in the world, they change it. Love. Love for those born on March 2nd isn't just a life chapter, it's the novel, the plot, the entire genre. It's the music playing in the background of everything they do. For these deeply romantic individuals, love is a sacred union, not just of bodies, but of minds, memories, dreams, and destinies. They don't crave casual connections or flings. They crave transcendence, a partner they can merge with on every level, physical, emotional, spiritual, and even karmic. A March 2nd Pisces falls in love the way others fall into water, fully submerged. There's no halfway. They open their heart not cautiously, but completely, and they expect the same in return. When they love someone, they see the best in them, not the surface qualities, but the essence. They love who you are under the masks, beneath the fears, past the scars. In relationships, they're often the ones who write long messages at midnight just to say, "I miss your voice," or who create surprise dates filled with handmade art, candles, music, and your favorite snacks, not because it's a holiday, but because they felt something in their heart and followed it. They're thoughtful beyond belief. They remember what you said in passing 6 months ago and bring it up when you least expect it. They pay attention to your energy, your pain, your joy, all of it. But this depth of love also makes them vulnerable. Their greatest strength, emotional openness, is also their greatest risk. Because when a Pisces born on March 2nd loves, they don't hold back. They love you in every dimension. And if that love isn't returned with authenticity, or worse, is taken advantage of, it can break them in profound ways. They might stay in unhealthy dynamics far longer than they should, convinced that love is about sacrifice. And while they are naturally selfless, they must learn that true love does not require them to abandon themselves. They also have a tendency to idealize. In the early stages of romance, they often see their partner not as they are, but as the version of them they could be. This fantasy projection can be beautiful, but it's also dangerous. If their partner turns out to be more human, more flawed, or less spiritually connected than expected, the Pisces may feel crushed, disillusioned, or betrayed, even if their expectations were never realistic to begin with. For those who love a March 2nd Pisces, emotional sincerity is everything. They don't care about wealth, status, or even conventional attractiveness. They care about the soul. Vulnerability, honesty, and depth are their love language. They don't want grand gestures nearly as much as they want someone who shows up when things aren't perfect, someone who can sit in silence with them and still feel close. When they find the right partner, someone who respects their sensitivity, embraces their imagination, and meets them in the heart, their love becomes almost magical. Together, they build not just a relationship but a world. A shared universe made of private jokes, late-night talks, rituals, dreams, and healing. But for love to thrive, March 2nd Pisces must remember, boundaries are a form of self-love. They must guard against losing themselves in the emotions of others, and learn that it's okay to say no, to ask for what they need, to walk away when love is not mutual. At their highest expression, a March 2nd Pisces in love is transformative. They teach their partner how to feel again, how to see life through a more poetic lens, how to believe in something bigger than the everyday. Their love can be healing, even life-changing, but only when they remember to love themselves first. In essence, March 2nd individuals are love incarnate, but their journey is to learn that while giving love is natural, receiving it, fully, freely, without guilt, is where their soul finds peace. Marriage. For someone born on March 2nd, marriage isn't just a life stage or a social contract. It's a sacred, spiritual union. It's a deeply emotional partnership built not only on affection, but on unspoken understanding, intuitive trust, and a shared belief in something greater than just the day-to-day. These individuals don't marry casually or out of convenience. They marry because they feel it in their soul, because something about the other person stirs their imagination, touches their heart in a place no one else has reached, and makes them feel less alone in the universe. Once committed, a March 2nd Pisces gives everything. They bring warmth, care, devotion, and empathy into the relationship. They are the ones who remember anniversaries, create rituals around small joys, and go out of their way to keep the emotional connection alive. They will listen to their partner's worries late at night, write little notes on mirrors, cook when you're sick, and bring you your favorite snack just because. They nurture the bond, not just the person. Marriage to them is not static. It's a living, breathing entity that must be cherished, grown, and protected. However, emotional reciprocity is absolutely essential. A marriage where they give and give without receiving love, affection, and presence in return becomes a source of pain. Pisces born on March 2nd can become drained by one-sided relationships, often without even realizing it until it's too late. Their default setting is to love unconditionally, and while that sounds noble, it often leads to them sacrificing their own needs, bottling up resentment, or slowly disappearing into their own fantasy world where things feel better than they really are. Partners who are emotionally distant, overly logical, or too rigid will cause this gentle soul to retreat. Not always physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They may start living in daydreams instead of the present. They may pour themselves into books, music, art, or even secret projects to escape the loneliness of a disconnected union. Sometimes, they might even emotionally attach themselves to someone outside the marriage who simply gets them on a level their spouse doesn't, though they often carry immense guilt if this happens. The most fulfilling marriages for March 2nd individuals are those built on mutual imagination, emotional vulnerability, spiritual curiosity, and shared creativity. This could be anything from building a business together to raising children in an unconventional way to simply sharing a love of art, music, or nature. When they feel like they're growing emotionally with their partner, they flourish. As parents, they are soulful, gentle, imaginative, and incredibly tuned in. They don't just raise children, they see them. They encourage their kids to express feelings, explore their creativity, and follow their dreams. Storytelling, music, art, and spiritual conversation are often integral to their family life. They will be the parent who creates bedtime rituals that feel like magic, who teaches their child to believe in themselves when the world seems too hard. But there's a shadow side. Their deep empathy and emotional openness can make it hard to enforce boundaries. If their child is manipulative or emotionally demanding, the March 2nd parent may struggle with guilt or confusion about saying no. They must learn that discipline and boundaries, when grounded in love, are also part of nurturing. Otherwise, they risk being overwhelmed, overrun, or emotionally exhausted by the very people they love most. In marriage, they need a partner who understands that emotions aren't drama, they're data. Someone who respects their intuitive, emotional nature, who doesn't dismiss their moods or dreams, and who is willing to connect consistently. They also benefit from someone with just enough grounding energy to help them stay present without stifling their imagination. When this balance is struck, March 2nd Pisces become radiant partners. They show the world what love can look like when it's soulful, creative, and constantly evolving. They bring depth to commitment and beauty to routine. Marriage, to them, is not a finish line. It's a canvas, and every day is a brushstroke. Sex. For March 2nd Pisces, sex is not a transaction, a routine, or even just an act of love. It is a ritual of transcendence. This is a person who sees sexuality as a way to merge not just bodies, but souls, energies, and truths. To them, physical intimacy is a spiritual experience, one that should be filled with meaning, connection, and emotion. If it's not infused with those qualities, it feels hollow, and they'd rather be alone than engage in something that doesn't stir their heart. From the moment they begin a sexual connection, March 2nd individuals are tuned in. They sense moods, energy shifts, and silent longings with uncanny accuracy. They don't need to be told what feels good, they feel it. Their sensuality is fluid, emotional, and deeply instinctive, not mechanical. They want their partner to feel cherished, adored, and safe. They know how to make intimacy feel like a sanctuary, often creating the atmosphere with music, lighting, candles, aromatics, soft textures, and subtle gestures that communicate a depth of care beyond words. Sex with them is not rushed. It's an unfolding, a quiet seduction rooted in emotional closeness. They want to hear your secrets in a whisper, to share stories in the dark, to feel as though nothing exists outside that shared moment. They don't separate emotional connection from physical desire. To them, they are one and the same. And when they feel deeply connected to someone, their passion becomes transformative. They bring healing, warmth, tenderness, and spiritual resonance into the bedroom. They make love the way others paint, pray, or perform music. However, there's a dual edge to this intensity. When they feel emotionally abandoned, unloved, or misunderstood in a relationship, they may turn to sex in ways that are less healthy. Not out of lust, but as a form of emotional escapism or temporary validation. They may seek out encounters that offer a rush of intimacy, even if it's fleeting, to fill a void in their heart. This can lead to complex emotional entanglements, especially if they become confused about whether the connection is real or just a projection of their longing. In committed relationships, they need partners who understand that sex for them is not just about desire, it's about presence. They are turned off by people who treat intimacy like a task or are emotionally closed off during sex. What arouses them most is feeling emotionally seen, being touched by someone who knows their fears, their dreams, and still chooses to come close. Their sexuality can be creative, imaginative, and deeply personal. Role play, fantasy, spiritual tantra, mutual storytelling. They often enjoy incorporating meaning into the experience. But only when there is trust. Otherwise, they may shut down completely, withdrawing into themselves, feeling unseen and unworthy. Sex with a March 2nd Pisces is not about performance, it's about energy, emotion, and oneness. It's an art form, a prayer, a communion. When they trust you, when they feel emotionally safe and inspired, they open up a world that few get to see, one where love and desire blend into something timeless. Ultimately, their sexual journey mirrors their emotional journey. It's about healing, connection, and the divine beauty of being fully known. And for the right partner, loving them in this way can be the most intimate and mystical experience of all. Friendship. Friendship for someone born on March 2nd is not a casual connection, it's a sacred commitment. These individuals are the soulful companions of the zodiac, offering not just their time, but their heart to those they care about. They view friendship as an emotional pact, an unspoken promise that says, "I'll hold space for you when no one else will." When you befriend a March 2nd Pisces, you're not just gaining someone to hang out with, you're gaining a confidant, a protector of your secrets, and a personal therapist wrapped in a poet's skin. They are incredibly intuitive friends, often sensing when something's wrong before a word is spoken. They might text you out of nowhere, saying, "I had a feeling," and they'll be right. They pick up on your mood shifts, the hesitation in your voice, the subtleties in your silence. Their empathy is borderline psychic. This makes them amazing listeners, not the kind who nod while waiting to speak, but the kind who really hear you, who reflect your feelings back to you with astonishing clarity and without judgment. They remember the little things. Your favorite coffee order, that band you loved in high school, the story you told them once at 2 a.m. that changed how they saw you. For a March 2nd Pisces, emotional details are the love language of friendship. They'll show up with the exact thing you need, not because they were told, but because they felt it. They are also the friend who shows up in the darkest moments. When you're going through heartbreak, grief, illness, or confusion, they'll be there, no questions asked. Whether it's bringing soup to your door, sitting quietly beside you while you cry, or writing you a 3-page letter of support, their friendship is marked by unwavering presence. They don't run from pain, they stand beside it, ready to help you carry it. However, because they give so much, they're deeply vulnerable to disappointment and betrayal. A broken promise, a lie, a deep emotional betrayal. These things wound them more than most signs, because they open themselves so fully. When they trust you, they do it with their entire being. And when that trust is shattered, it's not just painful, it's soul-cracking. They may never fully let someone back in after a significant betrayal. Even if they forgive you with words, the door to their inner sanctum may stay gently, permanently closed. They are not good at surface-level friendships or emotionally distant companions. They crave soul-aligned friends, people who are emotionally intelligent, spiritually aware, and unafraid of depth. Shallow small talk and fake connections are deeply unfulfilling to them. They need friends who are not afraid to go deep, who can talk about love, death, dreams, and fears in the same breath as movies, memes, and music. One of their key challenges in friendship is setting boundaries. Because they're naturally generous, they may overextend themselves, always being available, always offering support, always absorbing the emotions of others. This can lead to burnout, especially if the friendship isn't reciprocal. Over time, if they feel taken for granted or emotionally used, they may retreat, not with anger, but with sadness and exhaustion. It's crucial for them to have friendships that give back, not just take. The ideal friend for someone born on March 2nd is someone who's emotionally available, creative, open-hearted, and trustworthy. They gravitate toward people who have experienced emotional growth, those who can hold space for them the same way they do for others. Loyalty, kindness, and emotional awareness are the currency they trade in. Ultimately, March 2nd Pisces friends are the ones who stay when things fall apart, who believe in your light even when you've forgotten it yourself, and who remind you, through quiet gestures and deep connection, that you are never alone. They don't just walk beside you, they walk with you, heart first, always. Business career. In the world of business and career, people born on March 2nd are often quiet visionaries, dreamers who, contrary to the stereotypes, can translate their creative and emotional depth into real-world impact. While the general Pisces archetype is often labeled as too sensitive or too dreamy for the hard-edged corporate world, March 2nd Pisces have a unique blend of imagination, intuition, and subtle ambition that allows them to thrive in the right environment, particularly when their work is aligned with purpose, meaning, or emotional resonance. These individuals are not motivated by money or power alone. Instead, they crave impact. They want to feel that what they do matters, that their work helps, heals, inspires, or uplifts others in some way. This is why so many March 2nd Pisces find themselves in careers that revolve around compassion, creativity, or connection. In fields like psychology and therapy, they're naturals. Their innate empathy, ability to listen without judgment, and deep understanding of human emotion make them incredibly effective at holding space for others' healing. Clients or patients often feel seen and understood in ways they've never experienced before. In music, writing, and art, their gift is evident. They channel their inner world, rich with symbolism, emotion, and insight, into creations that move people. A March 2nd Pisces artist doesn't just paint or compose, they transmit. Their work often touches the unconscious of others, making them powerful communicators of the invisible. Many are drawn to spiritual or healing professions, Reiki, energy work, yoga instruction, intuitive coaching, grief counseling, and more. They have a natural ability to hold transformative space for others, blending compassion with insight. People gravitate toward them not just for their skill, but for their presence. Nonprofit, humanitarian, or social justice work also appeals to them. They want to fix the world's wounds, and they are not afraid to fight for what they believe in, even if their style is soft-spoken. They are excellent behind-the-scenes organizers, community builders, and morale keepers. They lead not with ego, but with empathy. In film, theater, and creative direction, March 2nd Pisces often thrive. Their gift for visual storytelling, emotional nuance, and aesthetics allows them to shape experiences that feel both cinematic and soul-stirring. They are often drawn to roles that let them bring meaning, beauty, or catharsis to audiences. That said, they can struggle in traditional 9-to-5 roles, especially in environments that are rigid, hierarchical, or lacking in emotional intelligence. Offices with cold fluorescent lighting, micromanaging bosses, or a "don't bring feelings to work" culture can quickly crush their spirit. They need flexibility, inspiration, and the sense that their contribution is valued beyond numbers on a spreadsheet. Many March 2nd individuals become entrepreneurs or freelancers, building careers on their own terms. Whether it's launching a wellness brand, starting a creative agency, opening a bookstore cafe, or running a content platform with spiritual depth, they know how to dream big and create structures around those dreams when given support. But there's a key pitfall: they must protect themselves in business. Their trusting nature can make them susceptible to manipulation, vague contracts, or partnerships that don't honor their worth. Having a practical, grounded advisor, whether it's a co-founder, manager, or accountant, is crucial to help them handle the fine print, assert their value, and avoid burnout. In leadership roles, they lead quietly but powerfully. They are often beloved by their teams for their compassion, fairness, and ability to read between the lines. They don't bark orders, they invite collaboration. They don't seek credit, they build harmony. And when they believe in a mission, they give it their all. To truly thrive, March 2nd Pisces must align their career with soul purpose. They're not built for climbing meaningless ladders or hustling for hollow wins. But give them a role that taps into their emotional depth, creative gifts, and desire to help others, and they will build empires of empathy. Their success isn't loud, it's lasting. And it's often far more influential than it appears on the surface. Because while others chase profits, March 2nd Pisces create work that changes lives. Compatibility. When it comes to compatibility, individuals born on March 2nd don't just look for chemistry, they seek emotional resonance. For them, the perfect relationship isn't defined by passion alone or intellectual stimulation, but by how deeply they can merge emotionally and spiritually with another person. Because of their highly sensitive and intuitive nature, their connections tend to be intense, transformative, and deeply felt. They're not interested in superficial flirtations or casual dating just to pass the time. They want a relationship that feels fated, as if written in the stars long before they met. Among all zodiac signs, few match the emotional capacity and inner complexity of a March 2nd Pisces. That's why certain signs naturally align with them, while others leave them feeling confused, drained, or emotionally unsafe. Cancer is a near-perfect match. Both signs are water-based, emotionally driven, and tuned in to one another in a way that defies logic. When a March 2nd Pisces meets a Cancer, there's often an instant feeling of home, as if they've known each other forever. These two can spend hours talking, or simply be in the same room without speaking, and still feel deeply connected. They nurture each other, protect each other's vulnerabilities, and often develop a bond that's profoundly healing. They understand moods, emotional tides, and unspoken needs. In this pairing, silence is never empty, it's full of meaning. Together, they create a relationship filled with warmth, emotional intelligence, and mutual care. Scorpio offers a different but equally magnetic kind of chemistry. Where Pisces brings sensitivity and compassion, Scorpio brings depth and emotional intensity. Both signs are highly intuitive and feel things deeply, but where Pisces is often soft and dreamy, Scorpio is sharp and intense. This makes for a compelling dynamic. When in harmony, these two create a passionate, mysterious, and fiercely loyal bond. They trust each other with their darkest truths and are often drawn together in ways that feel cosmic. This relationship can be emotionally consuming, but in the best way, when balanced. Scorpio helps Pisces find power in their vulnerability, and Pisces teaches Scorpio that tenderness is not weakness. Taurus, the steady earth sign, offers Pisces something they don't naturally possess: stability. Taurus is grounded, sensual, patient, and deeply loyal. For the dreamy March 2nd Pisces, Taurus becomes the rock, the anchor, the safe harbor they never knew they needed. Taurus, in turn, is enchanted by Pisces' creativity, softness, and ability to see magic in everyday life. This is a relationship built on mutual admiration and slow-burning trust. Taurus provides structure and calm, while Pisces brings imagination and emotional depth. Over time, they create a beautiful rhythm, one where emotions are respected and love feels like a long, peaceful song. Capricorn, though seemingly the opposite of Pisces, is often an incredibly strong, and surprisingly successful, match. Capricorn brings discipline, logic, and ambition, which contrasts Pisces' emotional nature. But these differences can balance each other out. Capricorn helps Pisces ground their dreams and follow through with action. Pisces helps Capricorn soften, relax, and feel again. Capricorn may struggle at first to understand Pisces' fluidity and emotional openness, but with time, they begin to appreciate the beauty of Pisces' emotional world. Pisces, in return, finds comfort in Capricorn's strength and consistency. This pairing can become a power couple when both commit to learning each other's language. On the other hand, some signs present real challenges for March 2nd Pisces. Gemini, for example, may be too intellectually driven and emotionally inconsistent to satisfy Pisces' need for depth and stability. Gemini thrives on variety, logic, and stimulation, whereas Pisces needs emotional closeness and soulful bonding. While they may enjoy each other's company for short bursts, witty banter, curiosity, and creative exchanges, over time, Pisces may feel unseen or emotionally starved, while Gemini may feel smothered or overwhelmed by Pisces' emotional needs. Unless both are extremely self-aware, this match often leads to misunderstanding. Sagittarius, though exciting and adventurous, tends to be emotionally evasive for someone as sensitive as a March 2nd Pisces. Pisces wants emotional closeness and a sense of spiritual unity, while Sagittarius is a free spirit who resists anything that feels like emotional heaviness or constraint. Sagittarius can sometimes dismiss or trivialize Pisces' feelings, which leads to deep hurt. While the chemistry may be wild in the beginning, filled with laughter, travel, and deep philosophical conversations, Pisces eventually needs deeper roots, and Sagittarius may not be willing to plant them. Aries, ruled by fiery Mars, often comes on too strong for gentle Pisces. Aries is bold, impulsive, and direct, qualities that can feel abrasive or even emotionally violent to the sensitive Pisces. Pisces, who prefers emotional safety and slow-building trust, may retreat in response to Aries' intensity. Aries might see Pisces as too passive or moody, while Pisces may find Aries to be aggressive or insensitive. Without conscious effort, this pairing tends to spark more conflict than connection. Ultimately, compatibility for March 2nd Pisces isn't just about astrology, it's about emotional alignment. They thrive in relationships where empathy, emotional growth, creativity, and mutual care are present. They don't need perfection, they need presence. And when they find someone who listens with their heart, leads with love, and honors the depth of Pisces' soul, they return that love tenfold. Numerology, the power of 2. Being born on the 2nd gives March 2nd Pisces a powerful overlay of numerological influence, and that influence is all about connection, harmony, and inner balance. In numerology, the number 2 is associated with sensitivity, intuition, peacekeeping, emotional depth, and the sacred art of partnership. It's the number that stands quietly behind the scenes, noticing what others miss, holding space when others rush forward, and keeping harmony in places that might otherwise descend into chaos. March 2nd individuals are infused with the vibration of the number 2 from birth, which enhances their natural Piscean gifts tenfold. They are emotional empaths, often feeling the moods and energies of others long before anything is spoken. They walk into a room and instantly sense the emotional atmosphere. Tension, joy, grief, awkwardness, they know it. This makes them incredible mediators, often stepping in to soothe conflict, offer gentle advice, or bridge gaps between people. They don't seek attention, but they create peace, which is often far more valuable. Their intuitive gifts are not loud or theatrical, they're subtle, precise, and often quietly profound. They might just know things about people, who to trust, what someone needs, when to back off, or when to lean in. This makes them deeply trusted by friends, coworkers, and even strangers who find themselves telling them secrets without knowing why. Number 2 individuals are also loyal to the core. Once they commit to someone, whether a friend, a partner, or a mission, they stay. They show up, they remember the important dates, the small details, the promises made. They are the ones who hold it all together when others fall apart. But this loyalty can also lead to self-sacrifice. Sometimes they stay too long in places where they aren't appreciated, believing that if they just give a little more, things will get better. They are excellent in collaborative environments. They don't need to be the leader, they are the heart behind the vision. In romantic relationships, they are devoted, romantic, and thoughtful, but they need emotional safety and equality. In friendships, they are trustworthy and supportive, but they require mutual respect and care. In teams, they often act as the glue, ensuring everyone feels seen and heard. Their challenges lie in their tendency to suppress their own needs. Because they're so focused on harmony and connection, they may avoid conflict to the point of self-erasure. They struggle with assertiveness, often knowing what they feel, but unsure of how to express it. They may also fall into codependency, believing their worth is tied to how well they care for others. But when balanced, the power of the number 2 is truly beautiful. It creates people who are emotionally wise, spiritually sensitive, and deeply devoted to the healing and harmony of the collective. Their presence brings comfort, their words bring peace, and their love is a sanctuary. And here's the key truth they must remember, always. You deserve the same love you so freely give to others. Your softness is your strength. Your sensitivity is your superpower. And your presence, quiet, kind, and profound, is exactly what this world needs. Druid Horoscope, the Weeping Willow, March 1st to March 10th. According to ancient Celtic tree astrology, those born on March 2nd fall under the enigmatic and emotionally profound influence of the weeping willow, a tree long revered as a symbol of intuition, healing, and timeless wisdom. The willow is not just a tree in the forest, it's a sacred presence, a living oracle that embodies the flowing nature of life, grief, beauty, and rebirth. For March 2nd individuals, being born under the willow means being deeply aligned with the rhythms of the earth, the ebb and flow of tides, and the soft, mysterious language of emotion. You are not merely sensitive, you are soul-sensitive, carrying ancestral memory, lunar memory, and emotional memory in your spirit. Willow-born souls are often old souls, showing signs of emotional maturity and spiritual awareness from a very young age. As children, they may seem dreamy or introverted, preferring the company of animals, books, or imaginary worlds over loud crowds or superficial play. They often speak with quiet authority, sensing truths that others miss, and asking questions far beyond their years. As they grow, their inner world becomes even richer, colored by a deep connection to the natural world and the mystical dimensions of life, things unseen but deeply felt. This deep emotional current within them means they often absorb the joys and sorrows of the world. A stranger's pain can move them to tears. A song can stir memories they've never lived. An animal's suffering can feel unbearable. This is not weakness, this is their divine gift. Willow people don't just feel, they understand the emotional undercurrents of life. They have a kind of emotional clairvoyance that allows them to feel what others suppress or deny. In this way, they are natural empaths, mystics, healers, and creative visionaries. Willows are deeply influenced by the cycles of the moon, and many born under this tree find that their moods, energy levels, and creative rhythms rise and fall with lunar phases. New moons bring reflection. Full moons often bring emotional release. Waning moons can trigger nostalgia or the need to retreat inward. Rather than resisting this sensitivity, Willow individuals are encouraged to work with these rhythms, to see their mood swings not as dysfunction, but as emotional tides that guide their internal growth and self-expression. Creativity is not a pastime for them, it's a necessity. Whether through writing, painting, music, dance, or even ritual, Willow souls must express their inner worlds to stay emotionally balanced. If they suppress their creative voice, they risk becoming emotionally stagnant or overwhelmed. Creative expression is how they alchemize pain into beauty, confusion into clarity, and longing into purpose. The most brilliant poets, composers, and visionaries often carry the Willow's essence. They are also deeply symbolic beings, often feeling a personal connection to certain animals, elements, or spiritual archetypes. A willow might see recurring symbols in dreams or nature, a crow, a river, a broken mirror, and understand their meaning instinctively. They find power in ritual, in sacred spaces, and in quiet moments of connection with the divine. They don't just walk through the forest, they commune with it. Every tree is a guardian. Every shadow tells a story. Willow individuals are also known for their exceptional emotional intelligence. They can walk into a room and instantly sense who is hurting, who is angry, who is hiding something. This makes them natural counselors, even if they never formally train as one. Friends often come to them for comfort or guidance, and they have a way of just knowing what to say, or when to say nothing at all and simply offer presence. Their storytelling abilities are unmatched. Whether they're writing fiction, sharing a dream, or recounting a childhood memory, they have a way of drawing people into their emotional landscapes with vivid imagery and a voice that feels ancient, soulful, and lyrical. They don't just tell stories, they transmit truth through them. But like all deeply emotional beings, willows have a shadow. They are prone to living in the past, holding on to old pain, romanticizing lost love, or escaping into fantasy when reality feels too sharp. They may struggle with closure, keeping emotional wounds open far longer than necessary, and using them as a strange kind of comfort or identity. This tendency toward emotional nostalgia can prevent them from fully living in the now. They must also watch out for emotional escapism, turning to substances, fantasy, or over-identification with sorrow. When life feels overwhelming, the willow's first instinct is often to drift away rather than confront or challenge. This makes grounding rituals essential. Spending time in nature, working with the earth, physically creating art, or engaging in embodied practices like yoga or dance can help them return to their center. To find balance, willows must root themselves while still flowing, like their namesake tree, flexible yet strong, tender yet unbreakable. When they learn to release old wounds, speak their truth, and embrace the now, their spiritual gifts blossom. They become medicine people, channeling wisdom that heals both themselves and others. To be born under the weeping willow is to be touched by lunar magic, emotional depth, and poetic vision. And when balanced, your presence is not only healing, it's unforgettable. Flower horoscope, Jonquil March 1st to March 10th. Your birth flower is the jonquil, a wild, golden daffodil known for its heady fragrance, radiant color, and bright presence during the first whispers of spring. But this flower isn't just beautiful, it's symbolically profound. In the language of flowers, jonquil represents desire, affection, renewal, and deep, loyal love. For those born on March 2nd, this flower reflects the very nature of your heart, full of warmth, light, yearning, and the quiet but constant hunger to both love and be loved in return. The jonquil blooms early, often emerging through cold soil, standing tall despite lingering frost. In this way, it mirrors the spirit of March 2nd individuals, who often move through life with an open heart even when the world is still cold. They are among the first to forgive, the first to offer kindness, the first to shine their emotional light into shadowed places. And like the jonquil, they are deeply resilient, not loud, not flashy, but unshakably luminous. People born under this flower sign are naturally drawn to love, beauty, and emotional warmth. They have a way of lighting up a room not just with their smile, but with the sincerity behind it. They radiate an aura that makes others feel seen and appreciated. They don't just care, they care deeply, often to their own detriment. Like the flower that turns toward the Sunday, March 2nd souls instinctively turn toward love, hoping it will bring them back to themselves. But jonquil symbolism carries another layer, self-love. The flower reminds us that while giving love freely is noble, it is equally essential to nourish oneself. March 2nd people often forget this. They give and give, pouring into others' cups until their own runs dry. They may mistake service for love, or think that being needed is the same as being cherished. The jonquil offers a gentle reminder: your love must feed you, too. You deserve to receive what you so effortlessly give. In romantic relationships, jonquil-aligned individuals can be romantic, poetic, and deeply devoted. They are not afraid to express their feelings and crave connection that feels emotionally sincere. They want to be someone's muse, someone's safe space, someone's forever. Their love is soft but powerful. It changes people, gently but completely. And yet, they must guard against overgiving, mistaking admiration or dependency for true love. In friendships, they're loyal, dependable, and fiercely protective of those they love. They may be the one friend who never forgets your birthday, who shows up unasked when you're sad, and who remembers your deepest fears without you ever needing to repeat them. But again, boundaries are key. The jonquil soul often becomes the caretaker for others, and may forget to care for themselves in the process. Spiritually, the jonquil represents rebirth and hope, blooming in that liminal space between winter and spring, darkness and light. March 2nd individuals often go through periods of deep internal transformation, shedding past identities, old wounds, and outdated beliefs to step into new light. These transformations may feel private, even invisible to others, but they are powerful. Like the jonquil, they always rise again, brighter, wiser, and more rooted in who they are. This flower also reminds us of the beauty in simplicity, the joy in small pleasures, the sacredness of everyday kindness. March 2nd people are rarely showy or demanding. Their beauty is found in gestures, in their handwritten notes, their spontaneous laughter, their quiet loyalty. They are like the jonquil in a field of roses, humble, radiant, and unmistakably the beginning of something beautiful. Ultimately, to be born under the jonquil is to carry a heart that seeks both sunlight and truth, to love with your whole being, but also to learn that you are not just the giver of love. You are worthy of being the garden where love blooms, too. Stone horoscope, aquamarine. The birthstone for those born on March 2nd is the aquamarine, a gem that glows with the tranquil blues and greens of the sea, and this is no coincidence. For the gentle, intuitive Pisces born on this date, aquamarine is far more than a beautiful accessory. It is a mirror of their essence, a calming presence, a spiritual tool, and an emotional anchor. Just as the ocean holds both power and serenity, depth and surface shimmer, so too does the March 2nd soul, and aquamarine reflects that duality in a form you can hold in your hand. Aquamarine has long been associated with clarity, courage, and spiritual attunement. In ancient times, sailors would carry it to calm the sea and ensure safe travels, not just across the physical oceans, but across the oceans within. For the emotional and often emotionally burdened Pisces, this stone becomes a lifeline to peace. When their minds grow cluttered with the weight of others' emotions, when their hearts feel tangled in overthinking or nostalgia, aquamarine brings a sense of cool, crystalline stillness. It reminds them to breathe, to soften, to return to center. Wearing aquamarine, whether as a ring, pendant, bracelet, or even tucked into a pocket, helps March 2nd individuals channel their natural intuition in practical, grounded ways. It sharpens their inner voice while filtering out the noise of self-doubt, fear, or external pressure. For the Pisces whose biggest battles are often internal, who may struggle with second-guessing, emotional overload, or escapism, this stone is a quiet guide back to self-trust. Aquamarine is especially helpful in moments of public vulnerability. For March 2nd souls, who often prefer the inner world to the spotlight, situations like public speaking, difficult conversations, or emotionally charged events can be taxing. This stone acts as a spiritual buffer, absorbing some of the external pressure while enhancing their inner clarity. It doesn't harden them, it protects without numbing, grounds without dulling. They remain themselves, but more centered, more confident, more open without losing control. This crystal also holds the vibration of emotional honesty, not the kind that is loud or dramatic, but the kind that allows one to speak from the heart without fear. It teaches that vulnerability is strength, that expressing your needs and feelings is not weakness but wisdom. For March 2nd Pisces, who often internalize pain and avoid confrontation to maintain harmony, aquamarine helps them find their voice gently, guiding them toward conversations that bring healing rather than conflict. Energetically, aquamarine connects to the throat and heart chakras, balancing expression with compassion. It bridges the need to speak with the need to feel. It also supports emotional detox, easing anxiety, regulating mood swings, and helping Pisces release old emotional imprints they may have carried for too long. Remember, Pisces absorbs energy like water absorbs color, and aquamarine acts like the moonlight on that water, helping filter, clarify, and reflect what's true. For dreamers, intuitives, empaths, artists, all of whom make up the March 2nd constellation, aquamarine also becomes a tool for creative clarity. When worn during writing, painting, composing, or meditating, it amplifies their artistic vision without overwhelming them. It focuses their inspiration into a tangible form. It brings flow to their flow. It's also a protective stone, not in the rigid, armor-like sense, but like a gentle tide that keeps toxins out. Energetically, it keeps away manipulative energy, harsh words, or emotional chaos that doesn't belong to the Pisces themselves. Sensitive as they are, this kind of energetic protection is vital. Even the color of aquamarine, that blend of sky and ocean, is the perfect reflection of Pisces' dual nature, dreamy yet thoughtful, emotional yet wise, soft yet deep. The March 2nd soul carries all the colors of the sea, and aquamarine reminds them that stillness is strength, and that peace is not the absence of feeling, it's the full embrace of it, with grace. This gem is not about fixing you, it's about returning you to your truest frequency. The one where your dreams have shape, your emotions have flow, and your voice has space to rise gently, like a tide that cannot be stopped. Vedic Astrology, Revati Nakshatra. In the ancient system of Vedic astrology, the stars are divided into 27 lunar mansions, or nakshatras, each one carrying its own energetic blueprint. If you were born on March 2nd, there's a strong chance you fall under Revati Nakshatra, the final and deeply spiritual nakshatra in the Vedic zodiac. And fittingly, Revati's energy is about completion, transition, spiritual depth, and safe passage across unknown realms. You are not just a Pisces, you are the last Pisces, the one who walks closest to the edge of this world and the next. Revati is ruled by Pushan, the ancient deity who acts as a cosmic guide, a protector of travelers, animals, and departed souls. This influence makes you a natural guide yourself, not always in a conventional way, but in the quiet, soul-healing way that helps people cross bridges in their lives, from grief to peace, from confusion to clarity, from fear to faith. You often do this without even realizing it. People feel better just being around you. Your voice, your words, your energy, it brings calm to chaos. Your presence is both soft and powerful. You don't push people, you lead them inward, gently showing them what they forgot they already knew. It's no surprise that many born under Revati are drawn to spiritual, artistic, or healing paths. You may feel at home in roles like intuitive coach, therapist, musician, Reiki healer, yoga teacher, hospice worker, dream interpreter, or spiritual writer. Whatever your path, you carry an aura of quiet wisdom that others instinctively trust. You also live with one foot in the invisible world. Whether or not you believe in traditional spirituality, you feel things others don't. Synchronicities, dreams, and spoken energy, messages in symbols, these things are part of your language. You're the kind of person who knows when someone is thinking about you, who senses when change is coming, who feels deeply connected to the cycles of nature and the phases of the moon. But this connection comes with a price: emotional saturation. Revati-born individuals absorb more than most. You're highly empathetic, which can make you a magnet for other people's pain, hopes, or hidden needs. You often play the role of emotional caretaker, even when it costs you. Over time, this can lead to energetic fatigue, or even chronic self-neglect. One of your karmic lessons is learning to help others without abandoning yourself. Another key part of your life path is navigating transition. You are someone who lives between thresholds, beginnings and endings, life and death, form and spirit. This may manifest in your life as frequent reinventions, changing careers, evolving spiritually, shedding old versions of yourself. You're not here to stay static. You're here to help others and yourself move forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. Revati Nakshatra also brings a sense of divine timing. Things in your life may not unfold when you expect, but they often happen exactly when they're meant to. Part of your soul journey involves surrendering control, trusting the unfolding, and believing that the invisible hand guiding you is always working in your favor. Patience becomes not just a virtue, but a spiritual practice. There is also a deep musical and poetic vibration in Revati energy. You are tuned into beauty in a way that's not always explainable. A single note of a melody, the color of a sunset, the way a stranger looks at their child, these things move you. You may be a gifted artist, musician, or simply someone who makes life itself more beautiful through your presence. But again, your greatest spiritual test is self-boundary. Because you are so tuned into others, it's easy to lose your own needs, your own time, your own path in the name of being there for everyone. Revati must learn the sacred art of saying no, of protecting their own energy, not from cruelty, but from depletion. At your best, you are a spiritual wayfinder, a soul so old and so kind it often feels like you were born to comfort the world. But your growth will come from realizing that you, too, need guidance. You, too, deserve care. You are not just a guide for others, you are a soul on your own journey, worthy of rest, joy, love, and boundaries. To be born under Revati is to be born at the cosmic shoreline, where heaven touches earth, where endings become beginnings, where healing happens not with force, but with faith. And your life will reflect that mystical, transformative beauty, every time you choose to walk with grace, both for others and for yourself. Key lessons for March 2nd souls. Boundaries are not walls, they are bridges to healthy relationships. For someone born on March 2nd, who naturally leans toward empathy, connection, and emotional openness, the idea of setting boundaries can feel foreign or even harsh. After all, your instinct is to care, to give, to listen, to hold space for others, even when your own heart feels heavy. You may believe that love means never turning someone away, that kindness means being endlessly available. But here's the truth your soul came here to learn: boundaries are not barriers. They are sacred lines that say, this is where I end and you begin. They're not about keeping love out, they're about protecting your energy so love can grow with respect, not depletion. Boundaries create clarity, not separation. They invite in the kind of relationships that honor mutual nourishment rather than emotional imbalance. When you set a boundary, you're not shutting people out, you're building a bridge that allows safe, meaningful, sustainable connection. And when someone respects that boundary, you'll know they're aligned with your heart, not just your availability. You are not too sensitive, you're finely tuned. From a young age, you may have been told you're too emotional, too dramatic, or too sensitive. But sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's a finely tuned emotional intelligence that allows you to read the world in ways most people can't. Your sensitivity is a gift, one that lets you detect subtle shifts in mood, feel the truth behind someone's words, and offer compassion before it's even asked for. You're tuned like a high-quality instrument, designed to hear the symphonies of human experience that others miss entirely. Yes, this means you feel more, but it also means you understand more, love more deeply, and connect more authentically. You don't need to harden, numb, or toughen up to survive. You need to trust your sensitivity, protect it, and choose relationships and environments that value it as a strength, not a liability. When used with discernment, your sensitivity becomes your superpower, the very thing that makes your presence healing, magnetic, and unforgettable. Don't drown in others' emotions, learn to swim through them. As a natural empath, you absorb what others feel. Their joy becomes your joy, their pain becomes your ache. It's your nature to merge, to dissolve the boundaries between yourself and those you love. But if you're not careful, you can lose yourself in their chaos. You may find yourself crying for reasons that aren't yours, taking on emotional burdens that were never meant for you, or feeling drained after even brief interactions. This is your reminder. It's okay to feel with people, but it's not your job to feel for them. Your emotions are your compass, but you need to know which feelings are truly yours. Develop emotional self-awareness. Visualize energetic protection. Ground yourself in practices that keep you centered: nature, stillness, water, breath. The goal isn't to shut out the world's feelings, it's to move through them without losing your own inner current. Like a skilled swimmer, you can navigate deep waters without being pulled under. Trust that. Your dreams are not unrealistic, they just need structure to fly. March 2nd souls are visionary by nature. You see not just the world as it is, but the world as it could be. Your imagination is vivid, layered, and endless, a realm of potential that's as real to you as the ground you walk on. But over time, you may have been told that your ideas are naive, your dreams unrealistic, or your goals too soft for the real world. Don't listen. What the world labels unrealistic is often just unmanifested genius. The key is not to abandon your dreams, it's to anchor them in structure. Write them down, break them into steps, build rituals around them, collaborate with people who complement your strengths with grounded action. Your creativity is a divine gift, but like all gifts, it needs containers, tools, and discipline to reach its full impact. With just a bit of structure, your dreams don't just survive, they soar. You are not here to be practical, you're here to be visionary, and visionaries don't follow paths. They create them. You deserve the same depth of love you give to others. No one loves like you do. Your love is poetic, patient, immersive, and unconditional. You love with your whole heart, without calculation, without keeping score. You see beauty where others see flaws, potential where others see brokenness. You give people a chance when no one else will. And while that makes you incredibly rare, it also opens you up to being hurt, or taken for granted. Your soul lesson is this: the love you give is not a reward for others, it is a reflection of your divine nature. But you are not a well that exists solely to quench others' thirst. You deserve the same loyalty, presence, depth, and softness that you so effortlessly offer. Stop settling for half-hearted connections. Stop explaining your needs. The kind of love you give does exist, but only those with emotional maturity and open hearts can meet you there. Raise your standards. Let go of relationships that require you to shrink. And most importantly, start giving that kind of love to yourself. Every day, without apology. So if you were born on March 2nd, you are not ordinary, you are a walking contradiction in the most beautiful way. You are both soft and strong, dreamy and wise, gentle and resilient. You are the emotional alchemist, able to take pain and turn it into poetry, confusion and turn it into compassion. You are the visionary dreamer, able to see what others miss, to feel what others fear, and to believe in a better world even when the world has disappointed you. You are the intuitive lover, the person who knows what someone needs before they even ask, the one whose presence feels like home. And you are the spiritual guide, walking through this world with one foot in another, sensing truths, hearing whispers, and reminding others of the magic they've forgotten. This magic is not something you have to earn. It's who you are. But like all magic, it must be protected. It must be respected. It must be directed with intention. So use it, protect it, trust it, and above all, never stop dreaming. Because your dreams are not distractions, they are your compass. And where you are going, no map has ever been drawn. If these words feel like they're speaking directly to your soul, or to someone you love, don't let them fade. Bookmark them, share them, come back to them when the world feels heavy. And if you want to dive even deeper, don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore our other zodiac deep dives in the channel. We've got compatibility guides, moon phase magic, energy rituals, and more, all created to help you live your cosmic truth. The stars may guide you, but your heart writes the story. And trust me, the one you're writing, it's already timeless.